We're live. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you guys swinging by. I got a new camera, which is nice because I can actually not look a little more choppy, look a little more crisp or clear. Although the lighting isn't great, so I have like a lighter, not a lighter, like a white screen next to me on my iMac, and on my MacBook, and then I have my second monitor just displayed on like a Google Sheets because that's like white and I could put info onto it. So with that being said, I'm really excited to do tonight's live stream. I've been looking forward to doing a live, after, not having gone on a few lives since, Christmas. So excited to be back, excited to be able to talk to you guys. And, obviously we had a trade go down, not a massive trade, but just a trade. And that was Estevan Florial going to the Cleveland Guardians. But, with that being said, there's a lot for us to talk about in terms of where the Yankees are going to navigate, what the pitching markets are going to look like. The quote from Yamamoto, I know, is probably going to become a topic of discussion. So we'll talk from there. But with that being said, what's up, MLB channel? Hope you're having a good night. Trevor Alley says what's up. Tyler says what's up. Hope you guys are having a good night. You guys are always sticking by, so I really appreciate it. Spinning Mantis says what's up. And not so family fun vision, also a great follow on Twitter, says hey Ryan as well. New setup. Yeah, no. So I moved some stuff around in my room as well. I realized that if you did not watch this morning's podcast, you didn't, or the podcast before that, you were not aware. So yeah, I'm not going to move my monitor, but basically I've moved all my stuff to the corner of the room. And so I have a little bit of a setup. You can see some picture frames. I got an Alfonso Soriano and a deodorant stick, I guess, but Alfonso Soriano's over there. I got a picture Yankee Stadium behind me. We're going to figure out how to kind of get these picture frames onto that wall. I'm not good with mirror directions. But yeah, no, the new setup, it's sick, man. And how was my Christmas? My Christmas was great. And I'm going to show you guys a gift that my brother got me, that I wore on actually one of the podcasts. But we've got the shades. We've got the shades. I look like a douchebag with these, but that's fine. I love it. I think it makes it better. But yeah, I might rock the shades all stream. You guys got to let me know. You guys want the shades or no shades on the stream? Let me know. But with that being said, yeah, my Christmas was great, man. I got to spend some time with the fam, handle all that stuff. We really we mostly celebrate Christmas Eve. Not saying we don't see each other do any Christmas opening on Christmas, Christmas presents opening on Christmas, but we handle all the present openings on Christmas. We do all the celebrating, the dinner, the time with family, all that stuff. Most of that happens on Christmas Eve. That's kind of our big day. But yeah, no, it was awesome. Got to, hand some gifts off to family, which was great. And, it's good to be home. So, all that stuff, definitely all a bunch of positives. I hope you're having a good Christmas as well. Tim King of Jordan says, what's good, bro? Hope you're having a good night. Glad we were able to trade Florial instead of DFA. I really agree. The ability to not, lose him for nothing, which the Yankees were going to lose him for nothing. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. The Yankees were losing him for nothing. That was what's going to happen. They weren't going to be able to have, they weren't going to have an opportunity to sign him, or give him a contract where he had minor league options. That just wasn't happening. So, you had to go with the route of trading him and trying to see what you could get on the market. And you got a breathing body. Look, Cody Morris isn't a world beater. He isn't going to be an elite player for you. But what he is going to be for you is he's going to be a solid depth arm who can start, who can, be a solid reliever. I know that his FIP and Sierra have not been great at the major league level, but the ERA at least has been passable. His projected numbers are pretty good too. So, I personally really do think that, the Yankees did a good job here flipping nothing for something. And that's kind of where, we're at in that trade. So I was actually pretty happy with the deal. I think Cody Morris has some interesting pitches. His four-seam fastball is interesting. I actually got to talk to a couple of really smart guys who follow the Cleveland Guardians and are fans of the team. They're telling me, the changeup's really good. It just hasn't been able to consistently locate it. Injuries were a big thing that they mentioned as an issue. So, definitely somebody that I'm a little bit, I'm obviously always going to be pensive about any player that we're talking about that is a AAA player, has limited MLB experience. But in this case, the way I view it is, as long as he's healthy, I think he'll be fine. It's kind of consistency, command, and injuries kind of all tangle with each other. When you get injured, the first thing that comes back is actually your stuff. The second thing that comes back is your command. So if you don't have your command, and we're talking about, hey, his change is a great pitch, but he can't get a consistent feel of it, he doesn't consistently, command it well, that kind of plays into each other, right? If he keeps getting hurt, he's not going to be able to locate. And if he's not able to locate, he's not going to get that much better. So we'll see if he can find that consistency in New York, if he can find that string of good health in New York. He just kind of needs to put up a couple of really, strong innings for the Yankees, or a few stretches of just being a good depth arm for the Yankees for this deal to be worth it. Again, the Yankees have a surplus of outfield talent. Not really upset about losing Florial. And again, we would have lost him for nothing. Dennis Bree says, hi. Spinning Mantis says, looks better. I appreciate you guys liking the new setup. I think it just looks better because I have my bed in my background. Like, you can see it a little bit here, not with the overlay, but it is still here. Like, when we record our podcast and there's not that same overlay, you can see it. But with that being said, it's nicer to just have like a crisper background. Morris is a great depth move. I agree. Bret Hart shades. Mike Rocky, I appreciate you, my man. No shades. I'm going to keep the shades, man. I'm going to rock with the shades. I'm going to have to do it. I'm sorry, Dennis. Cool emoji shit, dude. I'm going to rock these all stream. Freeman was not at the Yamamoto presser because he's working on the Bieber and Class A deal. Look, I'm not saying that MLB insider guy has never been right before, but like saying Ohtani's going to be a Dodger and Yamamoto's going to be a Dodger, like those were the two, like the Dodgers were the top contender for Ohtani, and they were probably, one of the two top contenders with the Yankees for Yamamoto. And on top of that, too, he did say Steve Cohen had a $400 million offer on the table from the Mets. That was never a thing. Not really sure where he got that from. So I'm not going to list him as like a Jeff Passan level source or a John Heyman level source or anything like that. That dude's still a certified yapper. All right. Here are the tiers we got for reporters, right? You're a yapper. You're, the Jeff Passans of the world. He's a yapper, right? He's in that John. He's a yapper. Robert Herbert goes, you guys are great, but let's avoid Montas. We need to go after healthy players. I don't think the Yankees should sign Montas as their primary pitching addition. What I think they should do is sign him if they get another frontline starter and they need somebody to, kind of, I guess, supplement the rotation and kind of push Schmidt into the bullpen. That is something I'm fine with. I do not love the idea of kind of saying, all right, Clark Schmidt, we're just going to cap off your pitching development here in terms of starting development. But I also know that somebody's bound to get hurt. I guess the way you could look at it is, you go out and let's say you trade for Shane Bieber. You go out and you add to your bullpen. I think Robert Stevenson's a perfect fit for that bullpen. And I think that's a good offseason. Like, I think that caps off your pitching offseason. Maybe you add another depth guy. I don't know. But the other issue here is just the lack of roster spots. You can't just sign 3 or 4 relievers. You have a lot of guys who don't have minor league options. So, they are in a weird spot. I will say Montas is really it would be a starter and then Montas. It wouldn't just be Montas in the bullpen, at least in my opinion, at least what I would do. If it comes down to it and all you can do is sign Montas, look, you got Juan Soto, you get Frankie Montas, you add some bullpen arms. I'm fine with that. But I do understand your point. But hey, we need healthy players. And Montas really, he just adds another question mark to the rotation. Now, do you just take as many flyers as possible? I believe so. I think you just try to go out and take as many flyers as possible. But again, I understand the fan concern. I would be uneasy, and I'm going to be uneasy about the rotation all year. But yeah, that's definitely a valid concern. I think it's a valid point to bring up. We need Corbin Burns. He's the only co-ace on the market, IMO, besides Snell and Cease. So the way I view Blake Snell is, I think Blake Snell is a 5 and dive pitcher. I think the same of Dylan Cease. I don't pay ace prices for non-ace pitchers. You're an ace pitcher if you can pitch into the 7th inning and shut a team out. Blake Snell might be able to do that. Dylan Cease has shown the ability to do that, but neither have done so consistently. I'd honestly even say that I'd rather get Blake Snell than Dylan Cease, because with Dylan Cease, I'm trading Spencer Jones. I'm trading Chase Hampton. I'm trading Will Warren. I'm trading maybe Roderick Arias. Way too much talent to give up for, quite honestly, a pitcher who is not a bona fide ace. But Zach, I do agree from the perspective of, if the Yankees were going to make that type of trade, Corbin Burns is the perfect fit for the team. Corbin Burns is an ace. Corbin Burns is an ace in every sense of the word. Since 2021, he's 4th in innings pitched. He has a 2.93 ERA, strikeout machine, good command, good quality of contact management. Again, pitches deep into games, excellent stuff. This is the type of pitcher that you anchor the top of the rotation with Garrett Cole for a very long time, and you end up winning a lot of baseball games because of it. Morris will definitely be a great major league player. Man, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I think there is some upside there. I wonder what Yamamoto said. So he was basically just saying that even if Ohtani didn't go to the Dodgers, he still probably would have ended up in LA. Now look, maybe that's just like, hey, he signed with there. That's his talk. Now, he's gonna just say he would have been a Dodger with it regardless. But I think he's saying that because that is the honest truth. I do genuinely believe, based on how this thing unfolded, based on what we know, all that stuff, it looked like he just wanted to be a Dodger. Look, that's on me for getting deked, is what it is. I didn't report anything. I'm not a reporter. Never sat here and said a reporter. I am a yapper. If you were to do tiers, Ryan Garcia, 100% a yapper. But with that being said, I do genuinely believe that he just wanted to be a Dodger, and the Yankees were, a team that was involved. But it just didn't go the way that they wanted it to, and Yamamoto seemed to really want, LA. It is what it is. Like it is what it is. You can't be, we can be frustrated by it. We can't change it. The Yankees got to kind of pivot from here. So that's the situation they're in right now. It's an unfortunate outcome. It is the outcome I did not want. But that's life, and that's baseball. And look, a good front office knows how to pivot. So that's all I'll say. I just saw Gene goes. I just saw a picture in Dodger presser with Yoshi in a Dodger jersey. I'm ill. I'm sick as well. It's disgusting. It's gross. I hate it. Henry Petit goes, what other moves do we have going on? The Yankees, again, like I think there was that report before Yamamoto signed. The Yankees had internally had conversations about Jordan Montgomery. There is interest. I don't know to what extent that interest is. We also know that the Red Sox and Rangers might be financially capped out a little bit, so that might help the Yankees a little bit here. We also know that the Yankees are heavily interested in bringing back Frankie Montas, and that interest is mutual. We'll have to wait and see how that goes, but the interest is mutual there. We know the Yankees are exploring the reliever market. There are a lot of things that they have going for them in terms of like pitching targets. The issue is just I don't know what the trade market's going to look like. I just don't think they're going to get Burns. I don't think they're going to get Cease. I could see Bieber, but I don't know what their interest level in. That hasn't really been reported. A lot of the conversations about Shane Bieber and look, as somebody who, I am part of the people talking, right? And the people yapping and the people putting content out there, the people putting stuff into the Twitter sphere and putting stuff into the article world and putting stuff into the video content of things. Full transparency. I'm not saying that based on reports. I'm not saying the Yankees should get Bieber based on reports. I'm saying it based on there's a connection with Matt Blake. I think the upside's there, all that stuff. We know that the Guardians are looking to trade Shane Bieber. I don't know what the Yankees' level of interest is there. I can't speak on that. So, in terms of other moves, Yariel Rodriguez is another guy that they've reportedly been interested in. It looks like they're just looking at all pitchers right now, that they're trying to find pitchers that kind of match. Okay, this is what we would pay them. Okay, check. This is what we would trade for them. Check. And they're looking to find a guy that kind of settles into their price range. I'm sure they'll walk away with somebody, but that somebody still remains to be seen. Lumbroken goes, if they can get a Glasnow-like extend and trade for Burns, would you feel comfortable dealing a package like Peraza, Hampton, Lane, Ramirez? That is an excellent question. That is an excellent package, quite honestly. Like, look, typically when it comes to trade packages, it's either a Yankee fan suggesting that we should give up too little or a Brewers fan suggesting we should give up too much. That's just how baseball discourse works. The teams that are being involved in trades, their fan base are going to overrate their players and underrate the other team's players. I think it's actually a really good return. I think that, you're getting, two guys who are going to be top 100 pitching prospects in Lane and Hampton. Lane is really damn good. Augustine Ramirez. Now, I don't know if the Brewers have a giant need at catcher. Maybe they prefer an infield prospect. Maybe they prefer Jorbit Vivas, or maybe they prefer, maybe they swap out and say, hey, ditch Peraza, ditch Ramirez, do us a Rios instead. I don't know if that would, if that's something you would want to ask for. I would not do that, by the way. I would not trade Arias, Lane, and Hampton together for 1 year of Burns, even if I'm getting an extension. But Peraza does help them in the infield. You do imagine that Willie Adames is on the way out, so he would fill in there. They don't have a lot of infield talent, so that would help. Chase Hampton, Lane, again, top 100 prospects. Ramirez, I think, is a really good catching prospect. I like a lot of what he brings to the table. He needs to get better at blocking. He needs to lift the ball a little bit more, but the exit velos are through the roof. This is a really talented player. I think this is a really good 4-player package. Lumbroken, I think this would get a deal done. Honestly, I think that this would get a deal done. I don't know if I would do it if I'm the Yankees because I don't want to trade Henry Lane. I'm not going to lie. But if you're saying we can extend him, we'll see. He's a Boris client, so he's not going to get extended. But again, you're saying I guarantee the extension. I feel like you kind of have to say yes. But again, I don't think he's going to be extended because he is a Boris client. So yeah. I love Sam. I gotta hold on. Let me see if I can I don't know if I can share my screen. But if I can, I want to be able to share my screen. I don't think I can. No, I cannot. I love this comment though. Sam obviously handles our TikToks, handles all the socials. That's my fucking guy right there. I love you, Sam. Moving on a little bit here. I gotta get back some of these questions. Where was I at? I was at Glasnow, I think. Yeah. Yamamoto said, yep, we talked about this. Dominique 5 says, what's up? Trevor asks, you think Flo's going to start in Cleveland or is he a bench player there? Bench player, fourth outfielder. He's probably a better fourth outfielder than what they can afford. So, I think he's the fourth outfielder for them. And hopefully he does well. Look, I'm rooting for him. I didn't think it was going to work out here, nor that I think it was good process to give him the chance to work out here. But look, I hope that, I hope that he has a solid MLB career. Like I hope he carves one out for himself, So, yeah. Tim King of Jordan says, "Wow, I hope he turns to a bust." Yo, I'm not gonna dish talk Yamamoto. But it is what it is. Then he Brees goes, "Lol, how much do you think Imanaga will get?" Spinning Mantis, great question. I originally would have said, all right, I think that it would have been a 5-year, $75 million deal, similar to the one Kodai Senga got. But that number might get even higher, and I don't know if he's the same caliber of pitcher as Kodai Senga. I think in terms of stuff, because of the way that Kodai Senga stuff profiles, a lot of ground balls, his issue was walks, but I'll live with the walks for the home runs. I think Kodai Senga is a better profile than Shota Imanaga. I think Shota Imanaga is a talented pitcher, but there are some things you'd have to work on. He's going to give up a lot of fly balls. He's just not a fit for the AL East, in my opinion. Like, I love the guy. I think he's a talented pitcher, but not the AL East. What I would suggest, if you are Shota Imanaga, is going maybe out to the AL Central or the NL Central. I don't know where. Maybe, you go to play for, I don't know, like a West Coast team. I don't know, but I just don't think the AL East is a really good fit for him. I think that it's a disaster waiting to happen, especially with the fly balls issues. So, there's that. Is Jordan Montgomery our pivot? I don't know. I don't know if he's necessarily your pivot. I think in free agency is your pivot. He's certainly the most likely free agent option the Yankees will go after. But I don't necessarily know if you would call him a pivot because, end of the day, are the Yankees going to be aggressive for him? I'm not sure. So we'll see. But I think he is their free agent. They'll look to him and see if they can get plus value for him in return. Okay, I'm sorry. This is fucking hilarious. The Yankees will be squeezed. In trades. Teams with arms in the block, smell blood in the water with them missing on Yamamoto. Yeah, they smell blood. Look, I know that teams are going to look to try to get more out of the Yankees, but I don't think the Yankees are going to force themselves to trade for Dylan Cease or, Corbin Burns. I just don't. There's that. So, I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know how you can. I don't know if the Yankees are going to force themselves to make a trade. So there's that. I don't think the Yankees are in all right, we gotta do something to make up for it. They're in we're going to make the moves we think are the best moves to make because that's what the Yankees should do. I believe the front office is doing their due diligence and calling around the league for trades in the starting pitching department. I think we'll end up with someone unexpected in a rotation. Ty B season 05. I actually really like this comment. I think it's a really interesting topic. How do I put this? Are the Yankees how sure are we that the Yankees are going to How sure are we that the Yankees are going to get a starting pitcher? I would say I'm very sure, but somebody unexpected. I actually like that idea. I wonder if there's maybe something kind of like the Donaldson deal that came out of nowhere. Where the Yankees are just I guess that was the Verdugo deal where that came out of nowhere, but there were inklings that the Yankees were involved. Donaldson was just legitimately out of nowhere. The Yankees never had interest in the guy, or public interest in the guy. I guess they had interest in Isaiah kind of Fluffle, so maybe that is the parallel there, but maybe Brian Cashman has another one in his bank, or maybe Brian Cashman has another unexpected deal. If you guys had to list an unexpected starting candidate for the Yankees to acquire, let me know who you guys think it is, and I would love to filter through who your guys' options are or who you guys have as suggestions. I apologize if you guys have already talked about it. I'm a little behind on the episodes, but what would your package for Burns be? So again, I don't think the Yankees are going to trade for Corbin Burns. I don't think they're going to trade for Corbin Burns, but I would love to in terms of just getting the player. The issue is just the package, right? I don't know if I'd love giving up the package for a player that's probably going to walk in free agency. Let's be real here. Think you sign Soto, probably not signing Corbin Burns. But I guess a realistic package would be you throw in an infield prospect. I think Peraza, look, I don't know what Peraza's value is across the league. I don't think he's a headliner, but as the third piece of a deal, could certainly see it. For headliner, it'd probably be Chase Hampton. Chase Hampton's the best mix of a really good prospect, but not a Jones caliber upside player where Spencer Jones could become a top 10 prospect. Chase Hampton, not necessarily so much because he's a pitcher. But yeah, I think Chase Hampton could headline a deal. You look at the FCL, one of Henry Lillane or Roderick Urias, I feel would be involved in a deal. I wouldn't love, I do not want to give up any of these players to kind of clarify here, but you would probably have to. And then as a final piece, maybe it's a Clayton Beater, maybe it's a Jorbit Vivas. I mean, that's actually a pretty wide range of prospects. Maybe it's more of maybe it is just a Clayton Beater. I don't know if the Yankees would like to, keep trading out of their pitching depth. Maybe it's a Luis Heel, maybe it's a Wenjis Gomez. Maybe it's another position player, lower key, like TJ Rumfield, in the organization. But, I don't know. Like, I think that you would have to really ask yourself, are you doing a 4-for-1 for a player who isn't coming back next year? And I just think the Yankees aren't going to be in that position to say, hey, we want to do another really aggressive trade for Renzel after the trade for Juan Soto. Read IP's cards goes, it's crazy how the Yankees added all these still players and technically still haven't spent a $0 in FA. Yeah, they haven't spent a single dollar in free agency. It is pretty crazy, right? Like, they've spent $33 million on Juan Soto, but that was through the trade market. They spent about $9 million on Alex Verdugo, but again, through the trade market. $5 million on Trent Grisham, again, through the trade market. So they've added a lot of players to the 40-man roster, and they've subtracted a lot of players from the organization, but they haven't made any free agent signings. It is genuinely really weird. Like, they're one of, 4 teams that haven't done it? It's been a weird offseason, but a good one for the Yankees thus far. Would you take on Moncada if it drops the price for Cease? FG, absolutely. 100%. 1 million%. 1 million%. So yeah. Rather have Trevor Bauer than Montas? No. I don't care what Yamamoto says, to be honest. That's fair. Baseball Hall of Fame is so toxic. These voters think they're Albert Einstein. This clown voted for 2 people and responded negatively. He kept tweeting out crying gifts. The dude said that he was going to vote for Gary Sheffield next year. He could consider it next year. Gary Sheffield isn't on the ballot next year. Look, I'm sorry. Look, I know that it's more nuanced than just ban them. But dude, you got to start taking away votes from people. I'm sorry. Like, you can't, that's an embarrassment. It really is an embarrassment. The Hall of Fame is the most prestigious honor in all of baseball. The Baseball Hall of Fame is supposed to be a celebration of the greatest players, the greatest moments, the greatest people to ever participate in our great sport. If you got people voting who don't even know the years of eligibility, it's a disgrace, man. It's a disaster. It's a travesty for our great game. And honestly, I don't care about the nuance of it. It's stupid. It's stupid. A lot of these voters suck. Like, I'm sorry. Adrian Beltre isn't going to be unanimous. I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to curse on this too much, but you gotta be fucking kidding me, right? Like, if you're not voting for Adrian Beltre to be in the Hall of Fame, you're crazy. And I know that people are going to say, well, first ballot, second ballot, third ballot Hall of Famers. Your career doesn't change in a year or not. You're either a Hall of Famer or you're not. It's that simple. I'm not saying it's there are players that are, not borderline, but is Adrian Beltre borderline? No. Is Gary Sheffield's case going to change from year 10 to not being on the ballot? No, he's the same player. The numbers didn't change. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, it's so dumb. Like, the Hall of Fame it's so dumb. The Hall of Fame voting, it's terrible. Like, it's really, really, really genuinely terrible. And I hate to go on a tangent there, but yeah. All the talk is about Burns and Cease, but I truly believe the success of next year's team is rather not Cortez and Rodon come through. Yeah, dude, I said this on this morning's podcast. It really doesn't matter who the Yankees add. If Carlos Rodon isn't good, they're not going to be very good, or they're not going to be great. They're going to be good, but not great. They're not going to be an elite team if Carlos Rodon doesn't produce. For 2 reasons. Number 1, because he's slotted in as our number 2. But number 2, because he's a financial black hole if he doesn't produce. That is $162 million over 6 years. You're in the second year of that deal. He needs to start producing because the back half of that contract is probably not going to look very good. If he gives you a year where he's 30 starts, a 3.30 ERA, that's a win and a half. That's a huge win. You get a lot better, and you got a guy who can help you in October. But the reason I want to add starting pitching depth is so that you can get him through the entire season. But you're right. Like, look, if Cortez as well. Look, if Cortez is, what he was in 2021, even, that's a win. This is a talented starting pitcher. These are both talented starting pitchers. We'll just have to wait and see how much better they get, as the season goes on. And they're going to be massive question marks. But you know what? I'll take those question marks given the talent level and given the fact that the Yankees are a team that, again, has just had a lot of success, preventing runs under Matt Blake and Sam Breen. So if there's anybody who's going to figure it out, it's those 2 guys with those 2 talented pitchers. Moving on. Chance of landing Hader, 0%. Big fat 0. Gonna do it just a big fat 0. Just a giant 0. Zero. Settle. No chance. No chance is happening. So hate to dash your dreams. They're not spending $100 million on a reliever. And if they do, I'll lose my mind. IKF wanted to start, so now you can start in Toronto. Great work ethic and all. Respect him for all that. But I think he's a traitor by going to Toronto after all the shit he said. He got $15 million from them. You gotta say yes to that. I don't know who else was offering $50 million for him. I really like, I have no problem with him doing what's best for the money. He never said I would never play for an AL East rival. And the Yankees didn't offer him $15 million. So, it's like you can't, the team wasn't loyal to him. Not saying that the team is to blame for like what happened with IKF. He wasn't good. Like, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was not a good player for the New York Yankees. He was a below average player this past season. I don't think he's a good player. I don't think the Yankees should have brought him back. I don't think the Yankees handled him poorly outside of playing him too much in 2022. But with that being said, this is business. The Toronto Blue Jays offered more money, and the Yankees weren't very interested in bringing him back at that price point. Who cares, right? Like, the second you let a player hit free agency and you basically say, I don't really care about bringing you back, 29 other teams can bid. You run the risk of one of those 29 teams being a division rival. And I'll say this, I'm kind of glad he's in Toronto. He'll go play third base, and he's not a very good he's a good defensive third baseman, but he's not a good hitter. He's not a very good baseball player. They're going to start him every day. That's a huge downgrade from Matt Chapman. That's a win for me. I'll take it. I'm not going to be too frustrated about him going to an AL East rival. Again, go where the money is. That's where I'm going to feel in that situation. So, yeah. Wilfred, great follow on Twitter. Yankee fans saying Imanaga is Kagawa 2.0 might be the laziest narrative. It is a lazy narrative. I just don't think the stuff is going to play very well in the AL East given the fly balls. But he is a good pitcher. Like, I think and also, I just feel like he needs that adjustment period. Every pitcher coming over from the JPL, the NPB, they need, they're going to need that adjustment with the new baseballs. And I feel like New York is just like, this is a win now team. This is a team that's going all in. I don't think they have the time to like tank a rotation spot for a few months, or a few weeks, excuse me. But he's certainly a talented pitcher. I think a team will be very happy to land him, but I just don't think the Yankees are going to land him. Yankees go, would you rather Monty for 6 over 132 or Snell for 6 over 150? Now, I'm going to do the math here. 132 is over $20 million. So that's I'm not going to hold you. Don't know where I went. That is completely my fault. My Chrome just like shut down on itself. No clue what happened there. But we are back. With that being said, that's $160 million. Like, you're in terms of AAV, you're not going to be doing too hot in terms of like a difference. There isn't much of a difference. If I do the math right now, it's 22 million versus it's about, I think it's 25 million. Yeah, 25 million. Is Blake Snell worth $3 million more a year than is he than Jordan Montgomery? I would say probably worth $3 million more a year. But yeah, no, I have no idea what happened in the chat. Like, none. Like, I have no clue. Chrome just shut down on me. Like, I shit you not. Chrome just stopped. It just stopped. But getting back to Blake Snell here, I think $3 million a year more for Blake Snell is a fine price point because I think Blake Snell is like, one of the 20 to 25 best pitchers in baseball. But I obviously have concerns about how many innings he's going to give you. I will say this, Jordan Montgomery, you're paying for the guaranteed innings. If you want a higher floor, you're getting that with Jordan Montgomery. If you want a higher ceiling, you're getting that with Blake Snell, right? Blake Snell has 2 Cy Youngs. Jordan Montgomery has 0. But Jordan Montgomery has 94 starts over the last 10 years. Blake Snell doesn't have that. So, it is certainly like, we're certainly talking about a more nuanced situation where it's like, all right, what are you paying for, the upside or the floor here? I don't know. I personally think that Snell's going to be a guy who doesn't really age well either. Like, I don't know how he's going to age, but I would say, kind of long answer, I think I'm doing Monty 132. I think that's my final answer. I think I'm doing Monty 132 just because of the fact that he is the type of player that is going to get me 30 starts a year. And I just need 30 starts a year. Like, I just need that. I already have Carlos Rodon. I already have enough headaches. And yeah, there's that. Moving on a little bit here. What do we got? Are your eyes on Tyler Hardman this year? He actually got like thoracic outlet. He has like I think he had like thoracic outlet syndrome or that surgery. So he's probably cooked. I feel really sad about it because he's actually a great dude. I got to meet him. Phenomenal guy. I got to meet him while he stopped by, not in Somerset, in Binghamton, when Somerset was in Binghamton. Great dude. Probably going to pick it up at some point. Like, I think somebody will pick him up and he'll be able to do well. But yeah, it's Pablo Cabrera country. Let's all right. Russ just got cut. Yeah, Russell Wilson is gonna get cut by the Broncos. What a weird world we live in. Like, that's just what a weird world. Like, former Yankee Russell Wilson. Honestly, Sam, if you're watching this still, former Yankee, I don't know if you want to like throw it. Former Yankee Russell Wilson gets cut by the Broncos. It's technically true. He was a New York Yankee. Just saying. Moving on a little bit here though, because I'm not a football expert. Shout out Fireside Giants though. The Yankees should trade Everson Pereira before Everson Pereira and Oswald Peraza before they become Clint and Andrew Sox. And yeah, before their trade at value is awful. Yeah, I think the Yankees are probably gonna have to move at least Pereira. I think Peraza they can stick with. I think, because of the fact that, not that they have to stick with him, but they're gonna need some infield insurance, and he's gonna provide that. He is expected to start the season with the team. I'm not sure they're going to be able to find a depth infielder right now. But with that being said, if you look at what the Yankees need, in terms of outfield help, they're kind of stacked out there. They have a great outfield. The depth is excellent. The depth is really, really good. And I don't know if Pereira's going to play next year at all. Like, he might get 30 games if we're being generous. Is that enough for him to build up trade value? Not necessarily, but I think that you should probably move him before that happens. Burns weren't signed an extension. I agree. Pereira and Serna for Edward Cabrera. Kevin Santiago, I think it's a fair deal. I don't know how I feel about Edward Cabrera because of the injuries, but definitely interesting situation. Definitely like an interesting pitcher. Maybe the Yankees can work their magic there, but if they can, I think that that would really, it'd be a ton of fun if they could. Like, I think Edward Cabrera, if they could figure something out there, he'd be a fun pitcher. I just don't know if they're going to. So, we'll see. We'll see in that regard. He's definitely a high volatile pitcher. I hate Baseball Hall of Fame voters. I don't hate them all, but I hate some. Corbin Burns is Scott Boras client since when? I believe he is. I've seen somebody mention he's a Scott Boras client. He also mentioned he would have to be blown away by an extension offer. So I don't think he's a Scott Boras guy. He's a Scott Boras guy. Yeah, this is Peraza, Beater, Hampton for Burns. I think you have to add another piece. Pereira and Sander for Bieber. I can also see this. This would also make a lot of sense. Burns said he wants to try free agency. Yep, that's true. Yoshi riding with Ben Verlander on the Ohtani train. Dude, Ben Verlander is a character. Just such a character, he is such a character. Yeah, I feel like to say about Flo, but I didn't know if his role in Cleveland would be as a starting role. Probably a bench player. Yeah, no, definitely. Yankees need to get out of this mess. Spence to get out of this mess. Hampton, Warren, Pereira, another prospect lands Burns. No, probably adds more, Ted. I'm not going to lie. It's going to take a little bit more than that. Just a little bit more than that. So, I don't know. After Kevin Kiermaier went back to the Blue Jays, I see Cody Bellinger crawling on his hands and knees back to the Chicago Cubs. Yeah, he's going back to Chicago, if I'm being honest with you. That's what's going to end up happening. Just gonna be real with you guys. I don't really know what's the market for him. Like, nobody wants the guy. Jeezy goes, I don't think the Yankees should tie up money on a mid pitcher like Monty. They should wait with short-term deals with pitchers, wait to the deadline to get a pitcher like Burns at a lower cost. Next offseason is full of better arms. I won't tie the money up on this free agency. Now, look, I don't know if the New York Yankees are going to I don't know if the New York Yankees are going to spend a lot of money in free agency next year, knowing that they have Juan Soto there. But in the same vein, right? Like, if you're going out and trading for Juan Soto, and then you're going out and acquiring, a starting pitcher like Jordan Montgomery, you have to imagine that they'd be willing to sign Soto and then try to sign a starting pitcher. Maybe they can go short term. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know if the New York Yankees, I wouldn't call Jordan Montgomery mid. I think Jordan Montgomery, the thing you're paying for is reliability. But I get it. Like, you don't want to, you are kind of basically saying, hey, this is a starting pitcher that we're going to sign. And this starting pitcher we're going to sign, and we're not going to probably sign another starter, a big-time starter for a while. So we'll wait and see. Speaking of short-term deals, Pensari33 goes, what's your opinion on the Yankees going after Lucas Giolito? So I'm going to stun some people here. I actually like the idea of going after Lucas Giolito because we need innings. And if he's your fifth starter, that's fine. The issue is I don't think it works with him and Clark Schmidt at the back end of your rotation, because then it's Judge. It's Cole, Rodon, Cortez, Schmidt, and Giolito. And Giolito has been a below-average starter for 2 years in a row now. I know that Giolito looked really good with the White Sox before he got traded. He had 3.79 ERA, 25.8% strikeout rate. Then he just kind of tanked with the Angels and the Guardians. But that's part. Look, it's still a question. Like, it's still like something that you're concerned about. I don't know if the New York Yankees are going to sign Lucas Giolito, especially considering I've heard some reports that he could get like $50 million. I don't think the Yankees are doing $50 million for Lucas Giolito. We'll have to wait and see. Again, maybe if the Yankees, have a guy who, if the Yankees are able to see, maybe if the Yankees are able to see like his market drop a little bit, we could see the Yankees go out and sign him. But I don't think the Yankees are going to end up with Lucas Giolito this winter. I would love to see it, but we'll see. At a cheap price, I'd be down. Not at a high price though. So there's that. James Paxton reunion. He's going back to the Boston Red Sox. So he's going back to the Boston Red Sox. That's what's probably going to happen. It looks like that's the situation. Dr. Hitzkitz goes, Santa bought you glasses. My brother, he hooked me up. My brother, shout out my dog, Ethan. That's my guy. We need to sign Snell. I don't know about need, but hey, I mean, he makes you better, right? Yankees didn't sign Soto. Right, they traded for him. That's on me. James Paxton is fit. Yeah, he's probably going back to the Boston Red Sox. With Dominguez and Jones coming up full year, are Verdugo and Grisham trade please at the deadline? Jones is probably not going to be up by the deadline. Verdugo, I think, sticks through with the team the whole year. I think Grisham's a valuable fourth outfielder. You could see Grisham moved at the deadline. I don't think that's impossible, but I don't know if we got to look at Verdugo as a, I don't think we got to look at Verdugo as like a trade chip right now. I think the Yankees want to keep him for the entire season, Cole. There's a reason the Yankees have been targeting him for multiple years. Why don't you want to give them up? Because the Yankees probably are going to keep Burns long term. That's the reality of it. So, that's the way I view it. Moving on a little bit. Let's see. Yankees either contend or Soto will walk. We need pitching now. William Reap, I agree, but if they're not good long term, it won't matter. Right? Like, I'm not saying that you want to, kind of punt this season to go for the future, but you're gonna I just don't think the Yankees are gonna be able to make the trade investment to go out and get Corbin Burns, and that's really what it is. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be completely honest with you. When does Hoodie Baby make his appearance on the show? We'll see, Glow. We'll see. He has technically been on the podcast, but that was back when I was terrible at this. So, yeah. Trade Pereira and Peraza for Bieber. Sign Montgomery, Hicks, Stevenson. Say the prospects that would be in a trade for season. That is a lot of moolah. That is we're talking the Yankees are going to spend I'm trying to think here. That's $22, $23 million, $10 million, $10 million. That's not $43 million in free agency. And then Bieber is about so that's you're asking the Yankees to commit $100 million in luxury tax salary this year. But you know what? I like it because a lot of it is short term. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to get Montgomery, Hicks, and Stevenson. I think it would be Montgomery. If you're doing Montgomery and Bieber, I think it would just be those two. Schmidt pushes to the bullpen. Maybe you sign Keenan Middleton. But this would obviously be the Yankees going all in, getting a bunch of really good players and just assembling them together, getting a rotation that's stable, that has a lot of really good things going for them. I personally dude, this would be sick. I will say this would be a sick addition to this would be a sick offseason. I just don't think it's happening. And I'm not saying that to be pessimistic. I'm just saying it from the perspective of seeing how the Yankees have kind of approached this offseason. I just don't think it's happening. I just don't. I just don't think they're going for signing 4 pitchers or signing 3 pitchers and acquiring another one through the trade market. I think Grisham's gonna have a surprise big year. Even if he's a 100 WRC plus hitter, his glove in center field and his base running are really valuable. He's a really good player. I know that people don't, appreciate defense enough. I love defense. I'm a big defense fan. Big fan of, getting defensive runs saved. Outs above average. Let's go. War City. You know what I mean? Stat padding. I'm joking. It's not stat padding. But defense is a big part of baseball. Defense is a big part of your player value. People overlook defense. They think everything's about offense. Grisham's a valuable player. This is a 2-WAR player with below average offense and probably a 3 or 4-WAR player with above average offense. We'll have to wait and see how the Yankees can make some tweaks. Do you think the White Sox would lower their, if we took Yoan Moncada, would certainly lower their asking price, but I'm not sure by how much. I'm not sure how interested they are in, taking on less to save 1 year of salary. We'll have to wait and see there. Trevor Adley goes, we talked about Keenan Middleton, Robert Stevenson, Jordan Hicks as potential candidates for the bullpen next year. What if Cody Morris is that guy instead? I don't want to rely on Cody Morris. I've kind of had this, like, I used to, and I used to do this a lot, as a younger fan, and I still do so to an extent. And it's, trying to, it's a problem with like trying to balance. All right, let's get surplus value on the market and let's spend, right? But let's not overspend. I don't think you can rely on Cody Morris to make the opening day roster for you, but you want to rely on him as depth, a guy who can come up and make a start if need be, a guy who can come up and make some bullpen outings if need be, a guy who could get better in the organization. He has minor league options. It gives you time to kind of, let him work on some things with you and develop some things and game test, right? I know that spring training is an opportunity to test against live hitters, but what people don't realize is that game situations are just completely different, right? There's a mental aspect to this game, and how you react to those situations, those pressure situations definitely matters. So you don't want to just say, all right, Cody Morris, we need you to be our 8th reliever entering the season. And that's why I would like to sign another reliever or sign a starter that pushes, Clark Schmidt to reliever world or whatever it may be. So, I don't want to put Morris in a position where he's relied upon to be their 8th reliever. That's really where I'm at. Moving on a little bit, Gary Sheffield was one of my favorite hitters to watch in the box. Iconic stance. Adrian Beltre belongs in the Hall. I agree. A-Rod's in the Hall of Fame. There's already steroid users in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to push back just because I don't believe guys who have been suspended for PD should get in, but I don't think that's a problem to think A-Rod's a Hall of Famer. Drew Thorpe, my guy. Hall of Fame is a longevity award as opposed to being the best or one of the best at your position in the era in which you played. Yeah, it's another thing too. Like there's a longevity conversation, peak longevity, all that stuff. It's certainly, it's a big question. You know what I mean? It is a big question. And it's a tough conversation, but the Hall of Fame conversations are usually fun when people, specifically voters, aren't trying to ego boost themselves a little bit. That Mitch Keller trade and extend is going to be chills. Let me cope. Again, I've said this multiple times. If the Yankees landed Mitch Keller, I'd be really happy. That's a guy you should look at the deadline and say, hey, could the Yankees maybe go out and get him and make him better? But we'll have to wait and see. I think an extension, you could trade and extend him. I think you could definitely do that. But I don't think the Pirates are going to deal him right now, just to clarify. Ryan Nuazeta goes, the Yankees need to get Will Warren and Clayton Beeter into spring training as they need to sign Jordan Hicks or Jordan Montgomery or Cuban pitcher. I think that one of Will Warren and Clayton Beeter could make the team next year. I think Will Warren has the upside to be a really good starter for this team for a very long time. His stuff is excellent. The question just remains, all right, how good is his command going to be? How many opportunities are going to be afforded? How healthy will he stay as he logs more innings? All that kind of stuff. Clayton Beeter, the question is command. The other question with Clayton Beeter, stems to, how his stuff is going to translate as a starter. This is his first year as a starting pitcher, and I don't really know if the New York Yankees are going to be able to go out and, I don't know if the Yankees are going to stretch him out as a starter on day one. Maybe they believe in him still as a starter. I don't really know how that's going to go, but it's certainly an interesting conversation. Clayton Beeter is an interesting prospect. I want to kind of see how he reacts to that second year of starting full-time. We'll see there. Jordan Hicks, great stuff, great pitcher. Jordan Montgomery, reliable arm, reliable pitcher. Yariel Rodriguez, high upside. Not really sure if he's a starter reliever, probably more of a reliever. And the command's a little spotty. Definitely a question mark. I'm intrigued at the right price point. We talked about Corbin Burns already, but it's probably going to cost you 2 top 100s and like 2 more pieces. That's probably what it's going to be. Unexpected trade target, Logan Gilbert, 27 years old, team control until 2027, $4.9 million a year. Seattle has promising young pitchers. They need hitters badly. Maybe we can find a deal. I believe Jerry DiPato already came out and said it's less likely that they're going to deal a young arm after all salary dumps, which I thought was interesting. They're having a weird offseason. I'm not necessarily sure what they're going to do this year, but I don't think Logan Gilbert's going to be a guy I think he's going to be able to trade for right now. But with that being said, MLB Nerds did come on this podcast and say that's a guy that could be traded, and could be, flipped for massive offensive pieces. But I don't think the Yankees profile is a team that matches up well with the Mariners. They don't really have, MLB proven controllable hitters. They have a lot of guys who could be good hitters, but that's could be, and could be just really isn't, it isn't the same as they are. Logan Gilbert is an established 30-start, frontline starter. I don't necessarily feel that way about, no one's going to really feel that way about, Anthony Volpe yet, or Oswald Peraza, or Everson Pereira, or Austin Wells, or any of those guys. So, yeah, there's that. If we get the guy from Cuba, you can spot start and then give Rodon and Cortez a break every now and then. He can spot start, but my question is just how much is he going to cost? How many innings can he give you? I don't really know what he's going to be. He's a question mark. He's just a giant question mark, and that's fine. But a question mark is a question mark, David Lawrence. Also, if you guys have not done so already, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the post notifications. We're trying to get to 10K. We are, I think, 67 away. So if you have not done so already, please, I'm begging you guys. I know that this is, I know this isn't, a lot of people have hit 10,000 before. A lot of people have gotten to that number, but that number really does mean a lot to me. That number, that journey has meant a lot to me, and I appreciate you guys. If you helped us get just a little bit closer, just crawl a little bit closer, get a little bit closer to that goal. So there's that. ICAP was fun until Volpe was ready. He knew that. No loyalty expected. Yeah, again, I'm not blaming the Yankees for not being loyal. I'm just saying that that's just business. That he did what was best for him. Where do you think Chapman goes? Matt Chapman, Giants. Aroldis Chapman, back to the Rangers. Montgomery coming back is my absolute nightmare situation. A mid-pitcher getting paid like a 2. I'm honestly quite open for any other option. That's a hot take. I consider him a reliable starter. But, hey, we'll see. I mean, I don't know how much he's going to get paid. How much he gets paid, I think, will determine, how I feel about potentially bringing him back. Yeah, it wasn't worth bringing him back. People forget Igawa was trash in his final 2 years in Japan before Cashman signed him. Yeah, let's pull up Kei Igawa's stats for a second here because I think it's a really fun conversation. And we're going to keep it brief, obviously, because I would like to get to all these other questions. But yeah, he put up, he wasn't trash. He had a 3.49 ERA. No, that's AAA. 2.97 ERA in his last year with Hanshin before coming over to the U.S. Terrible at the Yankees, the major league level, obviously. Was just not good. Was really bad. I think the difference is just scouting and just like the different baseballs. There's just a lot of different things. Like I just think we just have more information nowadays. Do you think the Yankees would trade for Devin Williams from Milwaukee? No. The Bieber trade idea is money. I think I would love Shane Bieber. So yeah. If we're looking at unexpected SP target, maybe an Alex Cobb type becomes available. Depends on how badly the Giants want to compete and how the winter goes, of course. That's a really good, you know what? Could you see like an Alex Cobb? Like how desperate are they for bats, right? Let's say the Yankees say, all right, you guys need infield help. Here's, like Oswald Peraza and like a reliever. Maybe it's Oswald Peraza and like Ian Hamilton, Alex Cobb and a prospect. I don't know. I don't know. I think that they are looking for a shortstop. Alex Cobb would be sick. Alex Cobb would really help the middle of the rotation. He is an older guy, but his stuff is really good. I've always loved Alex Cobb. I would love it. I would really love to see, I would love to see what the Yankees end up, what the Yankees end up doing. I think that the Yankees and the Giants might be a better match than people think, because I think Peraza might be a better fit for them than, people think. So we'll have to wait and see. Montgomery wants 160 to 180 million for 6 years. He's not getting that. I'm just going to let you guys know that right now. He's not getting that. Not a fan of a long-term deal for Snell. I agree. Snell's getting old. I'll take a younger guy who's hungry. It's just the durability. I'm not sure how that's going to hold up. Snell only pitches 5 innings. That too. Yankees should sign Snell and trade for Bieber. If they do that, that would be great in terms of like how good you are next year. You just really jeopardize the long-term sustainability and how well you'll be long-term, and your financial flexibility is jeopardized as well. You also put yourself in a position where, Shane Bieber outperforms Blake Snell. Now you paid Blake Snell. You have to let Shane Bieber, the younger pitcher, go. There are a lot of question marks here. Yankees will go short-term deals, in my opinion. Bieber, Giolito, guys like that. I think a Bieber, Giolito offseason, let's say Bieber, Giolito, and Hicks, right? Like, not Hicks. Let's say Keenan Middleton. That's a pretty good offseason pitching-wise. You get a guy, Bieber, who slots to your middle of your rotation. Giolito slots to the bottom half of your rotation, has the upside to be a middle of the rotation guy. And then you have Schmidt for the bullpen and a starting depth. You have Middleton as starting depth. You have, starting depth. You have him as bullpen depth. You have, and a guy who could be a middle inning reliever for you. You have Warren, Beater, and Morris who can all start for you next year. I actually think that'd be that's a really good tandem right there. I don't think the Yankees are going to sign any starter in more than 1 to 2 years right now. They don't want to take on any big contracts, maybe next season. Richard Witt, that's an interesting thought. I don't disagree. I think that's possible. The Yankees don't really want to go long-term for a starting pitcher right now. Moving on a little bit. I guess a plus with Snell is that he has a lot of experience pitching in the AL East. Yeah, that's true. Who wants me? Yeah, nobody wants Cody Bellinger. Gio Urshela is a depth infielder. Could certainly see him as a guy that, teams target, but he's slow. He's coming back from a leg injury that ended his season. It's just, I don't really know if that's a guy that you bring back. I don't know. Maybe at a cheap cost. Maybe if it's like $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, maybe $4 million. I'd be fine with that, but not like a $10 to $12 million contract. I hear Boone's excited about TJ's offseason. He could be a big comeback player. His projections are pretty solid. 106 WRC plus. He had 3 defensive runs saved and 4 outs above average at third base this past year. If he has a 106 WRC plus and 5 outs above average at third base, that's a win. Baby Goat goes, what's up, Rye God? Let's get ourselves some Shane Bieber, Class A Middleton offseason. Okay, first off, coming in hot with the Rye God. I appreciate it, my man. Don't feed into my God complex too much. I'm feeling myself a little bit. But look, I don't think Yankees are going to end up trading for Class A, but I think I want Middleton back so bad. Like, I'm a big heated Middleton guy. The dude shows emotion on the mound, and that's sick as hell to me. That's so real. When you show emotion on the mound, that speaks to me. That really does speak to me. And I really love Keenan Middleton, and I love the guy. And he also spoke really well about the Yankees, so there's that. Salute, CWE. How you doing, my man? I love Somerset. Spencer Jones is such a chill guy. Nice auto as well. Please don't trade him like you did with Thorpe. I love him. I think he's a really high talented pitcher. He's a really talented guy. He's a really, really talented pitcher. He was also a great guy to interview. He's a really good dude. I really like, genuinely, I'm actually got a video I'm working on with him. So not with him, on him, excuse me. So I think you guys will be excited about that. That should come out tomorrow. So stay on the lookout for that, guys. Why are people clamoring for Monty over Snell? Snell is leagues above Monty. Well, here's the reason why. Monty's more reliable. He's more durable. Snell has the other higher upside. And I imagine that their price points are going to separate by about $50 to $60 million. I think Snell could get $185 million. I think that Monty can get about $135 million. And I would say $50 million is enough of a difference. But we'll see what the Yankees end up doing, but I would certainly be interested in bringing back Monty at a certain price point. I'd also be interested in Snell at a certain price point. So we'll see. Because Blake Snell is always injured. Yeah, that's another issue. He has an injury issue. Forget the Dodgers. The Yankees are a true Japanese farm. We're going to have Roki Sasaki, Moriteka Murakami in a few years. I hope you're right, man. Those are two really talented players and two players that would certainly help the Yankees. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on here. Where did we... Snell walks too many people. Is Burns real? No, we did not trade for Corbin Burns. Just letting you guys all know. He needs to have to go all in Soto. I agree. I understand. Trust me, I understand. But I don't want them to. I just don't think they're going to end up going deplete the farm system levels. That's a little bit much. Jordan Montgomery is an ace, but he's a great starting pitcher. He's kind of like Andy Pettitte. Yeah, people forget Andy Pettitte was just kind of good for a long time. I'm not saying Montgomery is Andy Pettitte. Andy Pettitte is a borderline Hall of Famer. But Montgomery is just good. And he's just good for a really long. He's just going to keep being good for a really long time, and that's just how it's going to end up being. So, I think that's the type of guy that I would really be excited for. I would love to see him, be a guy like that. I think that the Yankees could certainly get that type of outcome, where he's just consistently, 85 ERA minus, 85 ERA minus, 85 ERA minus. So, that's the way I view it. So, I think it's just consistently good pitcher. Sign Lucas Giolito, sign Montas, sign Jordan Hicks. Who says no? Not enough upside here, but there's enough stability. Actually, Montas has a lot of upside. So this is a good enough offseason for me. JXV88, for me, it's good enough. And you got my seal of approval. You got the Ryan Garcia seal of approval. I can't say her last name, but Jack says, can somebody try? Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't really know what's going on here with the YouTube. It just crashed for a little bit, about 20 minutes ago. It's working for me now. I hope it's working for you, but yeah. Well, Snell walks too many people. Yeah, it's another issue, but his walks have allowed him to avoid damage contact, so there's that. Yankees should sign Yariel Rodriguez. His stuff reminds me of Michael King. I agree. His stuff is really good, but again, certain price point. That's where it's at. Are you aware of Giolito's divorce playing a role in his subpar performance in 2023? I actually completely forgot about this. If I completely forgot about that. I'm completely forgot. That might have been the reason why. Maybe a full off season, locked in, loaded, knows what he's doing. I'm not saying he didn't know what he was doing in his marriage. I'm sorry, that's terrible wording. I mean, more so has a better headspace. Can focus on baseball. Divorces are tough. Anything with outside of baseball stuff is tough. That's it's a tough emotional process. And he got traded, so that's another thing too. So you move, new life. I definitely see what you're saying, Patrick. I do think. I do think it definitely might have played a role, and maybe he's better in 2024 because of it, of kind of a new start. Maybe the Yankees should explore that market. I'll definitely look into it a little bit more. Let's see. If a team bowls over Soto with a huge offer after 2024, would Soto prefer to stay with the Yankees for less money because winning with the Yankees is special? John O'Neill, the Yankees are going to match any offer any team makes for Juan Soto. I'm confident in saying that. If we traded for Burns, we got to extend him. He's not going to get extended. He's a Scott Boras client. There's a small market for Hader, Snell, and Belly right now. No buzz at all. Could the Yankees swoop in and get one of them for cheaper than expected? Maybe. I think Hader's market's going to still have buzz because I think the Rangers are going to come in and say, here's money. But look, we'll see, man. We'll see who becomes players. And as the new year rolls around, we'll see, what emerges. And I'm really excited to see, how the New York Yankees, I'm excited to see how the New York Yankees are going to navigate through this offseason. I wonder what guys kind of become, if the Yankees can become opportunistic buyers. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely interested. I'm definitely interested. in seeing how those guys market shape out. I'm not saying I'm closed off to anybody. I'm always interested in anybody at any price point, but we'll see how their markets fall. Yankees haven't spent any money this offseason. It's so weird. They haven't signed a single free agent yet. I wouldn't mind him, Managa if the contract's reasonable. We need innings. Bieber if the price is right. Everyone's kind of like in the price is right situation, right? That's just the situation it is. Like that's where it is. Like it's the price is right. It's the price is right situation. I heard the Mariners put Luis Castillo on the market to cut payroll. How about Torres and prospects to get a deal done? Joseph, I know that somebody tweeted about it like on the MLB radio, but like it's not I don't think it's an actual rumor. If it were, I think we'd get more buzz. Again, Jerry Dipoto is like less likely to, I don't know. Like it's a situation where it's like if he was available, I feel like we'd know. We would really, really know. And look, if he's available, which he isn't, it would be sick if the Yankees brought him in. I just don't see it happening. I want Ryan the Chin on the reporter from Tampa who gave the wrong moto info. I love this guy. I love Drew. That's just such a funny guy. I remember how much some Yankee fans wanted Castillo before. I still want, I love Castillo, John. I'm going to be honest with you. Are the Yankees going to pursue a trade? Not Corbin Burns and Dallin Williams. Definitely not a package deal. How do you feel about Burns? Future Yanks, I think he's a great pitcher, but I don't think the Yankees are going to end up with him. I just hope other teams will not insist on the Yankees' top prospects to make a deal. They'll insist on the Yankees' top prospects, and they'll kind of bid down, and we'll see what opportunities shape out for the Yankees and which ones don't. Gilbert's a stud. Absolutely. Yeah, Logan Gilbert's a stud. Thoughts on Stroman? Look, I think he'd be open to playing for the Yankees if possible. But, like, I don't really want him following the shoulder injury and his older age and the strikeouts keep going down. Look, maybe the New York Yankees, find a way to sign him to a short deal. I can't even, like, talk myself into it. No shot. I'm good on him. Are the Yankees going to move Luis Castillo? Are the Mariners going to move Luis Castillo? Aiden? No, it's not going to happen. So yeah. I feel like bringing back Jordan would be the best option, but I'd rather see a Corbin Burns trade. Yeah, obviously, if you ask me who I'd rather have, it's Corbin Burns, not close. But if you ask me what's more realistic, it's probably Jordan Montgomery. Moving on. I think Stroman's personality could cause a problem in the Bronx. Yeah, he's a problem. He's just a problem. He's a problem person. He's a problem player. He's a problem person and a problem player. So there's that. He should sign Bellinger and then eat half the contract and trade him for Gilbert. Lol. I love that. That's honestly, I wonder if the Mariners would do that. I don't think they would. Chapman is a right-handed Gallo. I'd say he's better, more defensive value because he plays a more premier position. But yeah, I want the Yankees to get 2 pitchers from the Marlins without depleting their top tier from talent from the minor league system. Luzardo and Braxton Garrett are solid. You're not getting both those pitchers. And you're not even getting one of those pitchers without trading a top 100 prospect. So yeah, like it is what it is. There is that. It's easier for Japanese players to fit in now versus back in the day. So much more teams do to make it more comfortable. I'm bad at reading, apparently. The thing I think it is also is just like there's a higher acceptance, there's more buy-in. I think that there's just a general more acceptance in the world, which I think is a really good thing. Obviously, I'm a very forward-thinking guy. I'm a son of, I'm the son of an immigrant, right? I'm a son of a mom who spent a lot of time in the Dominican Republic. So, I like that, work environments, the world in general has just become more receptive to people coming from different countries and, coming from different backgrounds. And yeah, bring good energy and knowledge. I'm going to start coming here rather than WFAN. Bumper Car Joe, you're the fucking man. I appreciate you. If you add a window so you can show highlight reel of the players you're talking about, good luck and keep it up. Hey, I appreciate you, my man. For streams, I probably can't do it. For regular videos, certainly, for certain type of videos, I'm going to try doing this for Spencer Jones' video right now. I literally have the script in front of me. It's right here. I have a second monitor. I don't know if I could show you guys the second monitor. You guys are going to see all my dirty clothes, which isn't great. I have to do my laundry. But, yeah, I have a second monitor right here, and I've got my whole script. I've recorded parts of it. I've got to record other parts of it. I've already got all the footage I'm using for the rolls. So yeah, I'm really excited to get this video out. So we're going to be, trying a couple new things. So yeah, New Year should be exciting. And yeah. What bullpen arms should we get? Hicks, Middleton, Stevenson, maybe Jacob Junis. I actually really like Jacob Junis. We'll say any kind of guy, could be a swing man. Those are certainly interesting options to look at. So keep your eyes peeled for all of them. Is it possible the Yankees dodged a bullet with a Japanese pitcher whose stuff won't translate? I'm going to say they didn't dodge a bullet. I'm going to say they should have gotten Yoshinobu Yamamoto, but unfortunately, he didn't want to come here. It is what it is. It is what it is. Yankees should try to get Jordan Hicks, and they may try to get Dylan. I just don't think that they're going to get Dylan Williams. It's not happening. What were they drinking when they picked Volpe as a Gold Glove winner? He had plus 16 defensive runs saved and positive outs above average. Deserved the Gold Glove, my man. Trade for Burns and sign Hicks and Yariel Rodriguez. Again, that would be a great offseason, Ross, but I just don't think they're trading for Corbin Burns. Joe Urshela with done in baseballs is bad. Not an elite defender, a noodle, slow, has a base running IQ of a goldfish, and only good against Central Division pitching. Easy to pass on him. He was a good hitter, I believe, in 2022. I believe he was okay in 2023. His defense in the corner infield was pretty solid. Actually, no, he has a 92 WRC plus. I retract that statement. But yeah, he's not a great player. Look, if it's like a minor league deal, like I'm in for any depth, but he's just not a great player at this point. Like he was really good with the Yankees for a little bit, and that just hasn't remained the case. So, there's that. If the Yankees were to re-sign Soto, Jones is blocked. No way the Yankees don't hand the job to Dominguez Volpe style. Jones can play center, Soto can play right, or Soto can play left, or Dominguez can play left, Judge can play right, Soto can play right, then the other one DHs. There we go. Maybe Soto's probably DHs. Sorry, Stanton. Got to outplay. Like, we also don't know if Jones is going to be a major leaguer yet. So, there's a lot of stuff we got to figure out, and we'll find out a lot of those questions during this season. Aiden, the Yankees need the flexibility in the pitching staff. This is how the Yankees defeated the Braves in the 1996 World Series, as they had awesome bullpen with a great flexibility. Yeah, but I don't think they need to. I don't think they're going to get Devin Williams. I wonder if Jones could be the next first base after Rizzo after a couple of years. I think he's too good of a defender to do that. He's way too good of a defensive player in the outfield to try that. And there's a reason why the Yankees have kept him in center field the entire season. So yeah. Wander Franco news is quite disturbing. Yeah, he is a terrible, terrible dude. He's not a good dude. Bieber and Bauer. Bauer wants to be the not bringing in Bauer. Yeah, not bringing in Bauer. Yankees need to develop their top tier players to play in the show. This is a must for Will Warren and Clayton Beeter again in the show in 2024. I would consider Clayton Beeter a top prospect for the Yankees in the sense of like a top 10 guy. He's probably more in that 15 to 20 range, but Will Warren certainly, I think Clayton Beeter is still talented, but I view like Chase Hampton is probably the guy that we should be the most excited about on the pitching side of things. Henry Lane in a few more years will certainly be an excellent player. So, there's that, right? Like I'm really excited to see how, I'm really excited to see how the, how the Yankees use their young pitchers this year. Don't forget that Snell has a QO attached and other starters on the market do not. That's another big thing. I forgot about that. Wilfred, thank you for reminding me because we even talked about this. You replied with me about this, and this was interesting. The QO, or qualifying offer, for those who are not aware, is going to limit your draft capital. And if it limits your draft capital, and your international free agent capital, Roki Sasaki might get, sent through the international, instead of international posting, you might be sent through a different situation. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But like, I agree that that's a big differentiation here to make. He has a qualifying offer, and Jordan Montgomery does not. Right? Like these are important things to note. Wander Franco's a creep. Yeah, he needs to go. He needs to go. I'm not gonna talk more about the Trevor Bauer thing, so I'm just gonna ignore anything about Trevor Bauer. Frosty goes, trade for Bieber and sign Jordan Hicks. I would be down for that. Fran's really drinking that hopium. We are literally running it back except for less pitching. Armando Gomez, we have Juan Soto. Juan Soto. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by running it. We have Juan Soto and we have Alex Verdugo. Not as good of a player as Juan Soto, obviously, but a quality major league player. And Trent Grisham would have started on the team last year. Probably would have been their second best outfielder behind Aaron Judge. So they're not running it back. I'm sorry. Trade Bieber and sign Jordan Hicks, sign Burns and Bieber next and Soto next year. Too ambitious. Frosty. First off, Kaiba is the PFP. That's a culture. That's a good sign of culture right there. But I would love to see that. This would be special. I think it's too ambitious because I don't know if the Yankees are going to sign both Burns and Soto, but who knows? They were aggressive for Yamamoto. Maybe they're as aggressive for Burns, but we'll see. Yankees are looking at Moore as a lefty reliever. I don't know if that's a report, but Matt Moore would certainly be an interesting left-handed option. I would certainly love to see that as a low-key piece for the team. So there's that. Let's see. I'm not talking about Bauer. Sorry. I hope we make another blockbuster trade. I don't think we are, but I hope so. How far is the risk of becoming a regular shortstop on the Yankees 40-man roster? 2 to 2.5 years away at the very least. 2 years at the very least. That's what I'll say. The Yankees offense could carry the team until they make trades for pitching during the season. Pitchers want to join the Yankees when they see that kind of offensive support. I agree, man. I think with the right support, they could certainly, I think they could certainly be an interesting team to go to. And honestly, I think that the Yankees have a lot of the things that people, I think the Yankees have a really good pitching development situation. So, I'm actually really excited to see how they kind of navigate, the offseason, the winter, who they can make better, all that kind of thing, all that kind of stuff. Arias is blocked because of Volpe. Nobody's blocked because of Volpe. He can play other positions in the infield. Schaefer Bieber, just not doing power. Sorry. Yamamoto will be a bust. I hope not. Not that I hope not, but I'm not rooting for him to be a bust. Yankees got to do some big moves, or trading for Soto was kind of pointless. I don't. It's tough. Is it what's left of the market to really do? It was outside of Yamamoto. There's just not a lot left. We'll see. We'll see. I think that this offseason, these next few months are going to be very interesting for how this offseason is going to shape out, and how, we're going to see, how we're going to see, how we're going to see, this team moving forward. If they don't do anything massive, if they don't do anything notable, we're going to be like, hey, they just ran it back, even though I don't feel that way. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll have to wait and see. I really don't know what they're going to do. I don't really know what the big moves can be. I don't know what unexpected moves are out there, but yeah. Monty's been there, done that type of thing. He isn't an ace or even a good number 2. Why pay that for a 4th and a 3rd at best type of guy? Paying for a 31-year-old innings eater, please. He was a number 2 last year. He was a top 13 pitcher in baseball according to WAR last year. I don't know how much he's going to cost. I don't think 160 is an accurate number. You're also getting a high floor pitcher. I think that's kind of another thing too. You're getting a reliable high floor pitcher, but I get it. You're not paying for upside, and that's a little bit scary. If Arias soars through the Yanks, do you see him taking over at short? I don't know. It depends on Volpe, but I think he'll play a different spot in the infield. Sign another bat like Soler. I don't think there's a fit on the roster for him, even though in terms of roster construction, obviously he would make the team better. Yankees make another key trade for starting pitching. The question will be which pitcher from which team. We'll see. I think they'll definitely make a signing, but we'll see who that pitcher could end up being. I don't know. I don't know if the New York Yankees are going to make a trade. I think they would. You would believe that they would. But I think they might look a little bit into the free agent market at first. Is Spencer Jones comp Cody Bellinger? I would say no, because the swing Cody Bellinger had better, had better swing decisions, but Spencer Jones is a freak athlete, kind of like Cody Bellinger, great power, better power than Bellinger. I don't know what the comp for Jones would really be, because he's kind of a unique player. You would almost say Aaron Judge, but obviously Aaron Judge is the 90th percentile outcome of that, which is, an MVP caliber player, a guy who is a Hall of Fame caliber talent, who is going to go in the Hall of Fame if he is remotely healthy over the next few years. But I don't really know. I don't know what the comp for Cody Bellinger is going to be, or for Spencer Jones is going to be. I just don't think, maybe it's because I'm kind of, recency bias. Bellinger doesn't hit the ball as hard anymore. But I don't know if, I don't know if Cody Bellinger is the perfect comp, but there is really no perfect MLB comp. But this is, an interesting one. Good defensive center fielder, good athlete, good bat, that kind of player. Not talking about him. Sorry. Will we see the Yankees in the postseason next year if they make these moves? I think they'll get into the postseason regardless. I'm very excited to see if he's going to be in the. I think he'll be in the postseason next year. The Yankees will be in the postseason next year. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think they will be there. So yeah. Remember when Dallas Keuchel used to be a good pitcher? Yeah, it's a weird time. Thoughts on Jesus Luzardo? Great pitcher. I don't think the Yankees are going to trade for him. I don't think they're going to end up with him. Soto, Verdugo, Wells changed the entire offensive dynamic. It's left-handed hitters with good hit tools. So yeah. How often do you see teams get everything they need in one offseason? Never, John. And even when they do, it's never enough. They always have to end up getting more. What about Tariq Skubal? I would love it. A lot of risk. Would love it. Would cost a lot. And the Yankees are probably not the best suitor for that. And also the Tigers should probably just keep him. So, yeah. Arias is a cannon for an arm. Third base is real. That would be special. Solero Stanton 2.0. Thanks. I mean, if you got Stanton's production from the first 5 years of the Stanton deal, and you assume Solero's a 3-year deal, so let's say you got Stanton's offensive talent and production from the first 5 years of that contract, yeah, I would sign Solero. If Solero's a 130 WRC plus hitter, I would love it. But the issue is just he's a DH, and you can't really afford another DH right now, given the fact that you have a DH in Stanton. And it's not that Soto's a DH, but right field, essentially, the Yankees, quote unquote, hey, you're here if you're a DH who can clear the outfield and isn't a good defender. Yeah, Franco's going to jail. He's done. Jones' game power has not been a thing yet. That is true. His game power has not clicked the way you want it to. He has a 177 ISO in his minor league, in his most recent minor league season. So, certainly a hitter that has to improve certain things game power wise. But we'll wait and see on that front. Steal projections say that Shota Imanaga's ground ball rate is 40.7%. Thoughts? I don't think it's going to end up being that high. I think it'll be much lower than that. Why would School be a lot? Doesn't he have 2 arbitration years? I think he has 3. Could be wrong. If he has 2, it wouldn't be as much. But it's because of the upside. The upside, like, it's 3. It's 3. It's 3 in the upside. Like, the Tigers going to say, hey, this is a guy who could be, like, who put up 3.3 FWAR in 80 innings. And in his last 197 innings pitched, he has a 6.2 WAR. Like, you should sign it. Like, you got, like, he is a top, like, they're going to say, hey, this guy could be a top 10 pitcher in baseball. So, sorry, Trev. Yeah, like, it's a 3-year guy. I don't really see the Yankees as, ending up with, I don't know. I just don't think that the New York Yankees are going to end up trading for Tarek Skubal. Tigers go to the AL Central this year. They could. It's a bad division. They're a young team. If a key starting pitcher's trade is coming for starting pitcher, not surprising that Jose Trevino, Gleyber Torres, and Clayton Beard are involved in that trade. I don't know why those 3 players would be. But yeah, I don't think they're going to trade Trevino and Torres at the same time. So yeah, any upgrade at third base? DJ's getting older. You're not going to get Matt Chapman. Jaime Candelaro's off the market. You're not going to, Jorbit Vivas might be a guy in your system. Got to wait a little bit for him to get better. I think that they'll have enough like options at third base that they'll kind of go, jangle their way into one. But yeah, like we'll see. I don't know. It's a big I don't know what third base Yankees. I don't know if it's ever going to be a position that we have, insurance at any point during the season, but we'll see. I don't know. Third base is weird. DJ is kind of like the incumbent. Peraza will try to fight for a starting job. Hasn't really been consistent at the major league level. And then Vivas is a guy who's on the 40-man. Hasn't worked out at AAA yet. He has a small sample size there. Could get better. Left-handed. Kind of the guy that, like, if you're asking me, I think it would be really fun if he panned out, but we'll see. I think that they have 3 options, though. They have 3 options. And that's really the upside here. DJ's gonna have a big year next year. I don't know about big year, but I think that he'll be good next year. He'll be a solid player, plus defender, above average hitter by like 1 to 2%. Not unless the Guardians decide to trade J-Ram. I don't really care for Matt Chapman. That's fair. Thoughts on a Bieber, Clase being traded as a package? Not to the Yankees. It's not gonna happen to the Yankees. I promise you, they're not getting both of them at the same time. Who would you like the most out of the Marlins pitching crop? Probably Luzardo. Adjusting for price, maybe Garrett. But Luzardo, Garrett are obviously the 2 guys, right? So, yeah. Donovan Mitchell isn't being traded either. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell, excuse me. Donovan Mitchell's probably going to get traded if the Cavs can't extend him. But Brendan Donovan, probably not getting traded. Yeah, I think he's not getting traded. Prospect can be replaced in 12 to 14 months. Burns the must. Anybody but Jones can go. It's just like, Jones is like, you can't say anybody but Jones because Jones is going to have to go. Like, he might have to go. That might be what they ask for. So can you really say anybody but this one guy in a negotiation that might end up in the Yankees having to trade that one guy, but we'll see. If DJ's the everyday third baseman, not like utility infielder, I like it. He needs to be sure of his role from spring training, like most players. I don't know if being sure about your position is the most important thing in the world, but, we'll see. I mean, I'm not DJ LeMahieu. Maybe he knows better than I do. We're going to start taking in final questions before we wrap up. Trade for Burns next year and sign Bieber this year, sign Burns next year. Would be down for that. But we're going to start wrapping up, taking in final questions. I appreciate you guys stopping by. You guys have been excellent. I love doing these streams. You guys are the best. So, yeah, I love it. So, keep following those final questions. If we make a push for Cease, could we also get Moncada help around the infield? It would lower the price. It would add third base depth. I wouldn't hate it at all. Bieber's probably the only pitcher getting traded, but he literally has no elbow. if he didn't have an elbow, I don't think he'd be trading at driveline. He's trading at driveline, probably throwing at full intensity. They do biomechanics. They get to see all that stuff. I think his elbow is fine. Let's see. I'm just learning about Franco now. Is there any chance that the accusation? Nah, he's done. He's done. He's done. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's done. It's over. It's over. Like, it's over for that guy. But with that being said, moving on a little bit here for our final questions. He's too expensive. I'm not sure he's a New York guy. Drew, I'm not saying he's not a New York guy. The stash is New York. That's New York. But the innings, like 5 innings a start, is just not enough for me. He averaged 5 last year. It's just not enough for me. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And no, they did not find Franco Aiden. That whole situation is just bonkers. That's a wild situation. I'm not gonna lie. That's wild. But guys, I'm gonna take these final few questions here. Do the Yankees have any top relief pitchers in their farm system? Listen to these 2 names. Danny Watson, minimum 60 innings in minor league baseball last year, had the lowest ERA in all of the minor leagues. Jack Neely, under that same qualification, 60 innings pitched, he had the best strikeout to walk percentage of any minor league reliever. Or any minor league pitcher. Those 2 guys, watch out for them. They're both in AA, both had success, both are very exciting pitchers. Keep eyes out on them. Look, thank you guys for stopping by. Look, this might be the last time I talk to you guys before 10K on a stream. We're 60 away. And I'm going to take off the glasses for this. I'm going to just look at you guys, look into the camera, and speak from the bottom of my heart here. I never thought 10,000 subscribers was going to happen when I first started doing this. Everybody kind of talks about, my time here at Fireside Yankees and ESM. And look, I'm not saying this is personal or throwing shade at anybody. But it's always been seen as like, people have talked about Fireside Yankees and ESM as, all right, what are you going to do next after that? Are you going to go work at ESPN? Are you going to go work for John Boy? Whatever it may be. Those are great companies. Those are great, great people run those companies. I know plenty of great people who have interest or have worked or work currently at those companies. But I want it to be here. And I've always wanted it to be here. I've always wanted it to be ESM. I've always wanted it to be Fireside Yankees. This is that next step. Like, if you guys are looking for me to go work anywhere else, WFA and all that stuff, you gotta look here. Because that's where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to be. And this is where I want to be. And this is where my future's at. So, I really just wanted to appreciate you guys and let you guys know how much it means to me to get this close, to be this close, to grow as much as we have over the last year, and to get to where we are. I'm speaking on behalf of my coworkers right now. I know that, there are a lot of guys that do a lot of work here and work their tail off. And you don't always see it. I know we don't always agree. I know that we aren't always perfect. But you guys have always been there for us, and I really do appreciate it. So, we'll be back streaming tomorrow night. We'll probably do a longer stream. And I appreciate you guys a lot. So, I want to wish you all a good night. I hope you had a great holidays, and we'll see you guys in the next one, everybody. Have a great night. Peace out.